Hello, I'm Randy Randall from Desert Point Kennel, and I'd like to thank you for visiting our website. I want to put this on our homepage so when you come to the website you can see the video and get a quick overview before you delve into the website. So, what we'd like to talk about is how we got started and where we're headed and what you can expect from us. This is a pretty extensive website. It has a lot of information on it. There's actually two websites. The older one is desertpointkennel.com, and then this newer one's desertpointkennels with an s.com. I run out of room for pictures on the other one, so this one allows me to put a lot of pictures, and we take a lot of pictures. We've been in German Shorthairs for a lot of years. I had one when I was a young man, and that dog made such an impression on my life that I decided later to get German Shorthairs, and then Kim and I decided to go ahead and make our retirement based around breeding and having and loving German Shorthairs. The German Shorthair I had when I was a kid, Jack, solid liver dog, that it was just a fantastic dog. I mean, I've had a lot of dogs. I was a police canine handler and had police dogs, and my dad always had hunting dogs. Grandpa had hunting dogs. And my uncle has hunting dogs, and the German Shorthair just stood out. After all of these years, after all the different kind of dogs that are out there, the German Shorthair just has stood out as an amazing, amazing dog. Jack was just so loving and so kind, so smart, and such a great hunting dog. As a kid, he would play catch with you. As long as you wanted to throw something for him, he would go get it and bring it back. He was great in the water work, great with his water work. I've seen him drag down a deer that my dad and his friend shot, and in the vineyard, and they couldn't find him, so they went back and they got Jack, and Jack tracked him down, and I seen Jack grab him and pull him down to the ground. An amazing dog. The guys would wound deer, and they'd get Jack, and Jack would go find them and either come back and get them and lead him back to the deer, or stay with the deer and howl until they came and got him. He was good in the water. He was good on upland birds. He was just an amazing dog. And then later, as an adult, I couldn't find German Shorthairs like Jack. And I was like, what happened? I mean, what happened to the versatility of the dog? What happened to that kind of dog? I couldn't figure it out. And at the time, there really wasn't a lot of information out there like there is now. Now with the internet and Facebooks and groups, it's a lot easier to find information. Now there's probably an overload of information, where at the time there wasn't any. But I knew what kind of dog I wanted. I knew what kind of German Shorthair that there was, and I figured there probably must be German Shorthairs like that now today. And so we went on a quest to find good German Shorthairs. And the reason that we got into breeding was that I wanted to breed German Shorthairs like Jack, and I wasn't finding them. And I figured, wow, something happened, but I didn't know what. I didn't understand. I just figured that, maybe just the dogs that I had, the dogs I've been looking at, just weren't like that. And maybe there were dogs that were correct. But it took a little bit of experience. And the first group of dogs we got were basically field trial lines. Our field trial lines crossed with versatile dogs. And I kept the puppies back. I kept the puppies back from the litter, and then I raised them up. And then I got different dogs from different kennels and looked at them as well. And I came to the conclusion, I guess to cut to the chase, that there's kind of a split in German Shorthairs in America. And the split has become with field trialing lines. And the field trialing lines have basically produced a different dog, have produced a pointer hybrid, a German Shorthair pointer, English pointer hybrid. And what had happened was that when the German Shorthairs came to America, and it's in some other videos, and you can see all this in more details, but a quick view is when the German Shorthairs came to America, they were versatile, but they were registered as a pointer. They weren't registered as a utility dog, a hunting dog, or a retrieving dog. But they were a retrieving dog, but they had to pick one, so they picked Pointer. So what happened is that kind of pushed German Shorthairs just into a pointing dog. And so they started competing against English setters, English pointers, and pointing dogs. And so to compete, they needed bigger run. And so to get to bigger run, they basically just bred English Pointer into the German Shorthair. And it wouldn't have been as bad, if they would have also worked for versatility. If along that line they would have maintained water work, maintained a natural retrieve, maintained a versatility with fur and tracking, it probably would have been okay, because that's how the breed was developed. But they didn't do that. They pretty much just eliminated water work. That's completely been out. And then retrieving has also been out. But retrieving comes to a German Shorthair in two ways. It comes naturally, and it also comes as a forced fetch, where the dog is forced to fetch. And that's not passed down genetically. So I started studying the breed. I mean, we dedicated everything. I don't watch sports. I don't do a bunch of other stuff. We don't party with friends. We don't, I don't drink and I don't smoke. All I do is German Shorthairs and hunt. So I concentrated that. So I just put my whole heart and soul into it along with my wife. And I read the books. Every book, there's a video out there we did just on books. There's a lot of really good books out there, from Georgiana Bryant's stuff to Maxwell's to McGowan's to David Layton's Cigar's book. They're all really, really good information. And then we got the pedigree program, and we started inputting the pedigree. Then we started looking at different dogs and different lines. I didn't sit and look at them and base my opinion on what other people thought about them. I didn't base my opinion really on what other people thought about anything. What I did was just go ahead and try it. Can you breed more than one dog together? Can you keep more than one dog together? I mean, can you raise two puppies together? Can you raise a pack? Can you do all of that? And before I formed an opinion, I did that. So I hunted with German Shorthairs every day for years and years and years. The trial lines, the German lines, the blend lines, the versatile lines, the lines from hunting, all of these lines I've tested and looked at the dogs. And so I formed all of these opinions on experience, also based on what my goal was and what I had seen in the past. So my goal is up here. I have a perfect German Shorthair in my mind, and that's a versatile dog who can do anything. A dog that points backs, loves the water, has a natural retrieve, and is a very loving, kind dog. That's what we go out of our way to produce. And if a dog doesn't meet that criteria, then we don't keep it. We've imported dogs from Germany. I've seen Romanian dogs, Serbian dogs, dogs from other countries. I've seen most of the dogs from the different kennels, the different lines, the Potmus lines, the Potsiefen lines, the black lines, the white field trial dogs, the Mosgard dogs that all go back to Ebb. All of those lines, the Hustler stuff that comes out of Hustler, the Ebold stuff, the early German stuff that came in, the dogs that go back to Waschling. I've studied the Hegehaus, Wittichen, Waschling, all of those lines, and got the dogs in. We basically ate, drank, and slept German Shorthairs. So when you come to this website, you're coming to a site that has taken years to produce, put together, based on experience, not guessing, and you're going to get our full backing. I believe that as an American, we can do anything. That we can do anything as good or better than anyone else. And the reason is that we're free to do it. And we have the money, the time, and we can gain the experience to put something in there. So if you're watching this, and one thing I want you to think about is there's nobody out there smarter than you are. You're a smart person. You're looking into something. You're doing the research. You just don't have the experience yet. So don't be blown with the wind when you get on some of these Facebook sites and you start talking to other people and other breeders. And, don't be swayed, even with me. Think about it. What makes sense to you. You know, just because somebody's off on a tangent in one area, that field trial dogs are the best, or you have to test the dogs in NABDA, or you have to hunt test the dogs in AKC, or you have to do shoot to retrieve, or you have to do this, or you have to do that. And dogs have to come from this line, show lines, or whatever. You know, think about it. You know, I'm going to give you my experience, and that's going to give you a bit of information, and you can, you know, you can get other information, and you can wade through it until you come up with something that works, you know, that works for you. I'm going to give you a head start. I'm going to give you the head start I wished I had. I didn't have it. Just the information wasn't out there. So what I've did is I've been very transparent, and I basically share everything that I've learned. I'm not keeping it a secret. I've started 5 or 6 or more kennels for other people that I help do. And I don't care if it's my next door neighbor and he's going to be raising dogs and selling dogs that are going to compete with me. That's not who we are. We want to help people. We're a Christian-based family business, you know. So doing right, being kind and loving is top priority. You know, there's no room for lying, cheating, manipulating. You know, it's honesty, kindness that win the day. We belong to a Love on a Leash program where when we can, we try to get our dogs into old folks' home. We give a lot of dogs away to veterans, free, military, free, you know, law enforcement as well. We really do believe in giving back. Our puppies are also on the medium range of price. Even though we're raising top quality dogs, I believe as good as anyone's. And the reason is that you can raise as good a dogs as anyone, but there's no way anybody can raise any better than you, because it only takes one generation to get their dogs. So, you know, if a certain kennel thinks that they're doing best, and you get the dogs from their kennel, well, you have what they have. If the Germans think that they're doing best and their dogs are better, and the DK system is better, the North America DK Club, German Club, or the NABDA Club, just get dogs from those breeders and breed them. And we're a huge kennel, so we're not restricted by how many dogs that we can bring in. We can bring in as many dogs as we want. So we can bring in the German dogs, and what happens is you get the German dogs or the American strains or whatever, and you raise them as puppies with the rest of your dogs, and they all have the same chance of making it. It doesn't matter what their background is, good or bad or in between or whatever. We take a dog from just a hunting, what you might consider just a hunting kennel, and we raise it from a puppy, and it gets to go out on an outing starting at 8 or 9 weeks, and it gets to go out every day or every other day, and it gets to go to the water. Whoever does what it's supposed to do, that's the dog that we pick. If a dog points, backs, finds the birds, works with you, works medium range, likes the water, has a good nose, and is very loving, well, that's the kind of dog we want. And it doesn't matter if it's from the very, very best high-priced kennel in America, or it's from, you know, the old hunter that just has a pack of dogs that all he wants to do is hunt. I mean, a lot of respects that the old guy that's just hunting, that's what he's breeding his dogs for, and those dogs typically are actually better than a lot of the top field trial dogs. And remember, there's a saying in breeding dogs that you only breed to improve the breed. Well, if you read Cigar's book that was written in the 50s, and he was there during the development, he said by probably the 30s or 40s, the dog's nose were already so good, everybody's dogs were passing all of the tests. And like, where was the room for improvement? If a dog loves the water, retrieves, smart, fine birds, is well built, healthy, how are you going to improve on it? And then who gets to decide who gets to improve on it? If I have a field trialing dog, a field trialing line, and he gets to be a dual champion, and he's a big running dog, and they say, well, we're improving the breed because we have big running dogs. And it's like, we have field trial champions, and that's the best of the best. And another German guy would say, that's ridiculous. You don't even do water work. You don't even have to retrieve. You know, your dog's works way too far out. The German would say, you know, we raise the best because, well, it's our breed and it's our club, and we've been doing it consistently since the beginning. So our dogs do the water, our dogs do the tracking, our dogs do whatever. So only our dogs can do that. The show people say, well, you know, our dogs are best because we show, and they're show champions. And in America, we're very centrist, and we don't realize a lot of times that there's a whole world out there of people and breeders that have been doing German Shorthairs, every day for years and years, and they've produced a different kind of a dog than us. We think that our dogs that we breed and AKC, if it's AKC at United Kennel Club, or it's the German Shorthair Club of America, that's the key right there. So whatever rules they make, that's what goes. So if they say a black isn't allowed in the show ring and it's a disqualification, well, that must mean that blacks aren't pure German Shorthairs and somehow they're lacking. And the truth is, that's just not the case. You have to open up your eyes. You have to open up the view of everything and take in all of the information. Then you're in a position to really, do something with the dogs and help other people too. We're lucky that we can use the German dogs. See, the German dogs can't use our dogs because our dogs, they believe, have been changed into something else, a hybrid, a pointer German Shorthair mix. But we can use German dogs. So I can pull from the Germans. I can pull from NAVDA. I can pull from versatile breeders. I can pull from show people, field trial people. I can use it all. If I'm smart enough, wise enough, and understand it well enough, that I can do that. So what we've done is I've always had in mind the dog I wanted to produce. I've never been swayed by this, that, and the other. I knew I wanted a dog like Jack. I had the dog in my mind. And it's like, those are the dogs that we use. And if they don't meet that criteria, then they don't stay in our program. And we have a testimonial page on the Facebook. You can go to that, and that's not even updated. We probably have 10 guides. I mean, one of the biggest feathers in our cap, I guess, or proof of the pudding, I would say, is that guides, hunting guides that have to find birds for clients, use our dogs. At least 10 different guides use them, and a lot of hunters. And we hear things all the time. Wow, I'm amazed. I'm like Mike Cross said, I'm amazed. German Shorthairs in the past have just been like shaking up cans of pop, and they've never worked for me. And all of a sudden I get a dog from you, and it's like the top of my string. It's fantastic. We just got James just got a dog he guides, and he's had Brittany's and English pointers. And he got a solid 100% German DK dog from us, and then he got Buddy, which is a blend. And he said, I'm amazed. He said those dogs went right to the top of my string. He said they could handle everything. They never got hurt. Their pads never got slipped or sore. And they found birds. They found the black DK dog found probably 50% of all the birds found, and Buddy probably found 40% of the other ones. And it's like, I'm amazed. German Shorthairs, I never knew how good they were. Because what happens is, if you get a good German Shorthair, and that's kind of why you're visiting the website, I would take it. If you get a good German Shorthair, you're never going to have another kind of a dog. You're always going to have German Shorthairs because they're that good. If you get a bad German Shorthair, you're never going to have another German Shorthair because some of them can be that bad. It's like, the difference between a thoroughbred that just wants to race on the track and is hard to handle versus just the best Morgan or quarter horse out there for working people. And first and foremost, we have to live with our dogs. Our dogs aren't kenneled. Our dogs here, they run the whole place. We have dogs in the house. We have dogs outside the house. We have dogs. This office studio is in part of the double wide. They have the whole rest of the double wide where they can come in and out. We have puppy places set up. The puppies are whelped in the house until they're 5 weeks old, and they start climbing out of the whelping box, and then they're moved into another facility, another house. A house has air conditioner, heater, radio, lights, fans, radio, if I didn't say radio. It has all of that. Then it can go from that inside to a fenced-in outside. They can go in and out. And then people are coming and playing with them. Our grandkids live with us, so they play with them all the time. But by the time you get a pup from us, the puppy will have had 2 shots, a 7-week puppy test. They'll probably went through the Bullhound part of that puppy test at 7 weeks. It'll have the super dog training when it was a puppy, where they're stimulated from 3 days to like 11 days. My wife Kim does that. And they're going to be a well socialized puppy, but they're going to come from parents of proven dogs. Proven to do what? Proven to hunt, proven to point back, proven to love the water, proven to be good with other dogs and people, because these dogs eat, sleep, and play and hunt together. So there can't be any fighting, fussing, I mean, they're such a solid pack, a solid group of dogs, that when we rescued some English pointers from a breeder that had just kept them in a kennel with no socialization, our pack was able to basically stabilize that group until we're able to go ahead and pass those on to, to somebody else. But we don't do anything else. We do German Shorthairs. We don't, like I said, we don't party. We don't run around with our friends doing a bunch of stuff. We do German Shorthairs. We read about them. We spend time with them. They're always around us. We take them places. We take them on these outings. We have a bus. We have a car. Taking them out every day, every other day. Either just leave the place, open the gate, we're gone out in the wilderness, the desert, and then or we go to the water. And if you see our videos, and you can go to our videos here and see that. You can see the pictures. I take a lot of pictures of our dogs. I take a lot of pictures of the dogs because they're beautiful, and they're active, and they're fun. And this is a very healthy breed. One of probably the most healthiest breed with probably the biggest gene pool. The gene pool worldwide is unbelievable. They're the number one versatile German. The German Shorthairs are the number one versatile hunting dog in the world. And they're probably the most versatile all-around dog in the world. They're the second most popular hunting dog after a lab, and they're the number one most popular pointing dog. They're their number 9 overall AKC, and probably if it wasn't for the field trial people, and if the German Shorthair Club of America probably would have been doing what they were supposed to be doing, they would probably be the most popular dog, because they can be loving or they can be crazy. A breed that's crazy is not going to be that popular. And a lot of the German Shorthairs, because they've been bred just for a big run. And I can't overemphasize how big a run they've actually been bred to do. The best story I can tell is the breeder Whaley is an English pointer breeder, and he bred English pointers, and his line is his name spelled backwards, which is Elhew. The Elhew line of English pointers is the most popular pointing line of any English pointer type of a dog. And he said back in probably the 80s or the late 70s, hey guys, the pointing dogs are getting too big a run. In these trials and stuff we're doing, we're getting out of hand. They're way too big. They run too big. We don't need that. These dogs are designed for foot hunters, and here we are on the back of a horse, which is okay. We can see things better, but don't use the horse just as a means to keep up with our dogs. They're running too big. We need to bring them back. They didn't do it. They did not bring the English pointer back. They continue developing the run until the dog runs huge. And I only say all of that because we bred our German Shorthairs, which were never designed to do that, to run lockstep with English pointers. So as big as the English pointers can run, the German Shorthairs in some lines can run exactly the same. So if the English pointers got way too much run, you can imagine how I feel about the German Shorthair, how they got. And so along with just the run, they did not develop the water work. They did not develop the natural retrieve. They did not develop a lot of what needed to be run. So if you happen to be, I guess, in the plains of Nebraska and you wanted a huge running dog that you could work off horseback or a four-wheeler, they might work. But in truth, you lose absolutely nothing by having a versatile dog. So if your dog is versatile, can do the water work, can do the land work, can do the fur, can do the tracking, can do everything it needs to do, when it gets into a specific area, like finding upland birds, it can do that just fine. When it gets into an area like duck hunting, it can do that fine. When it has to track something, it can do that also. So being versatile doesn't take away its specific areas. And that's one thing that you guys need to understand when you're looking for German Shorthairs is that there are a big variety that's out there. You're going to be living with this dog. The average hunter maybe hunts 3 weeks out of the year. So what's happening to the dog the rest of the year? If you're living with a dog in a house, you want it to be calm, cool, and collective. You want it to be loving and kind. You just seen Jack, that was Jack's boy that just came up to me here. You know, he's laying on the couch. He just wants to come in and be here, be where I'm at. And all of the dogs do that. They're lap dogs. First and foremost, they want to go with you. If you go someplace, they want to go. They're great because they can do it all. If you're an active family, that's fantastic. You go, you know, just because I'm breeding a versatile dog, the great part of it is that you're an active family. The two go together. You know, a dog that runs and hunts and comes back and checks in is the same dog that's going to go out and hunt and run and come back and check in with you on these walks or these bike rides. If you go to the water, our dogs can do ducks, your dogs can do balls. If I throw a bumper or a ball in the yard, well, my dog can also retrieve a bird out in the field. So whether it's a ball or a bird, you know, it can do the retrieving. You know, we want calm, lovable dogs, because who doesn't? I mean, that's the name of the game. Nice, lovable, kind dog that, you know, what advantages too? We got other advantages. They're a healthy dog. They're probably one of the most healthiest dogs there are. There's like 5 genetic problems, and they're not even big problems. They're very seldom ever seen. I've never even seen or heard of an infected dog. You know, I think we had one dog tested as a carrier to a urinary tracking problem. That's a problem that all Dalmatians have. Our dog was a carrier. A carrier doesn't mean it has it. It means a carrier bred to another carrier can produce puppies like that. So it's like one dog was an infected. I mean, a carrier, not even an infected. And I contacted Paw Print Genetics, and they said, we're not coming up with infected dogs. We're not even coming up with dogs that are carriers. I use, and the website will tell you a lot of this information. I switched over to Wisdom Panel, because Wisdom Panel, when you do the test for genetic defects, it'll do every single defect in every single breed. So yours like 130 or whatever amount it is. And so you get the results back and say, okay, your dog's clear of every single thing. And then what happens once your dog's clear and it's bred to another dog that's clear, every single puppy has to be clear. So you don't have to test those puppies. 98% hip dysplasia free. So you're getting a dog that's very, very hip dysplasia free. I mean, the hip dysplasia in German Shorthairs is almost non-existent. And I have a section on that on the website as well. So, you know, the pedigrees, so I have a pedigree program. We put in a lot of information. Over the years, I've spent years and years and years on it, and all of those are done by hand, one entry at a time, and then they link together. It goes back to the German dogs, the American dogs, whatever's out there. And then that also gives me an ancestor table, so I can see all the ancestors in that dog's pedigree. It gives me a COI, a coefficient of inbreeding, so I can see if a mating is going to be high in that respect. It also allows me to have on one pedigree, like here's one right here, matter of fact, on this pedigree it allows me to get all the German titles, all the American titles, the NAVDA titles, the shoot to retrieve titles, the AKC, the UKC. So you, by looking at one of our pedigrees, you have an idea of, you know, what the dog actually has. So I hear people say, oh, this dog is the #1 titled dog. Well, it's not really the #1 titled dog. You're just looking at AKC stuff. So the dog has got a lot of AKC titles, but it doesn't mean it has more titles than another dog that might have a German title. Our Germans have a lot of different titles because they tested a lot of stuff. So you might have one dog that has a NAVDA VC, also has an American dual champion, and it has a bunch of NAVDA awards, and has a bunch of AKC awards. That's a pretty titled dog. And if they move over and do any shoot to retrieve from that, then you know, you could see that the dogs have those titles. But it does bring us to one aspect, and I do cover it in videos, and I do cover it on the website. What do titles mean? You know, you might think, if you're new to this, that you go to somebody's page and you're visiting it, and you see on their pedigree that, oh wow, this dog has a ton of field trial champions. This is a fantastic pedigree because it has a lot of field trial stuff. And the truth is that field trial stuff means the dog is a big runner. And if you don't understand if it's a foot hunting field trial or a horseback field trial, it could be completely the wrong dog. It's not showing any versatility in that. There's no versatility in a field trial. There's no water work involved. There's no natural retrieve involved. There's no tracking involved. So, a German pedigree would show all of the tests that had to go through. NAVDA is the closest thing we have to that, and you have to do really good water work in NAVDA. So at least looking at a NAVDA pedigree or a NAVDA dog, the dog will be good in water. Now, does testing and trialing necessarily come down to good hunting dogs, good family dogs? No, it doesn't. Bodo, that started NAVDA, he was the first to say, because the dog has a VC, a versatile championship, doesn't mean that the dog is actually going to throw great qualities for hunting. The only way to tell if a dog's going to throw great qualities for hunting is actually to have a great hunting dog. And so these hunting tests are to hunting what trap, skeet, and sporting clays are to shooting wild birds. They're not the same. I mean, believe me, I hold a few records in sporting clays, and shooting wild birds is a completely different science. And the two can go together. They can help handle the shotgun, how to aim, how to lead, how to do that. But the only way you can really become a good bird hunter is as far as shooting goes, is to shoot at a lot of wild birds. The only way that your dog is a good hunting dog is to get the dog out hunting. So if you're getting a dog for hunting, you better get a dog from a hunting kennel. And you have to remember that all hunting kennels aren't the same, because the average hunter hunts 3 weeks out of the year. So you're going to have to talk to the kennel and talk to the people, what kind of hunting do you do? How often do you do it? What can your dogs do? How can they handle that? To be reassured that the hunting dog that they're breeding is the hunting dog that is going to work, it's going to work well for you. So, and breeding too. The average breeder lasts 5 years. So he probably or she probably had 1 or 2 dogs, probably a male and a female. And after that, they bred that dog for 5 years. They've had 5 litters. But they've never had a breeding program because they have no place to go in it. Once they're bred together, the puppies can't be bred back to mom and dad. So they have no breeding program. So there's actually different levels in breeding programs. Because somebody says, I have a breeding program, doesn't mean they had a breeding program. While on the LU people, Whaley, that bred the LUs, he had a breeding program, a performance-based breeding program. We have a breeding program. I can confidently say that we have a breeding program because we have a lot of dogs. We have multiple studs, and we have multiple dams, and they're pretty wide and diverse in their background. But they all have those things in common that I spoke of before about the retrieving, waterwork, point back, and being a good dog. So we're able to take our different lines, study them, breed them back and forth for a specific goal. Excuse me. So that kind of gives you an idea. I wanted you to see, sometimes you read a lot of the stuff. I wish I had my wife in there because she's a sweetheart, and you would get the idea of our program too. Sometimes you read a lot of stuff on the pedigree, but it's always nice to see the people behind the scenes. And so you're looking at this and you're able to see me, and you're able to make some judgments on that just because you're able to look me in the eye. And I got some notes over here. So on the puppy list, you contact my wife. She takes care of the puppy list. If you get on our list, it doesn't mean that you have to buy a puppy from us, and we'll help you buy puppies from other people. We don't care. We're actually here to help out. We raise puppies because we want to get rich. Yeah, right. You're not going to make much money. If you got a small kennel and you're raising 1 or 2 litters and you don't have a lot of overhead, you probably make some money on the litters. But by the end of the year, when we do ours and we do our taxes, and we're real honest with all of that, we keep good records and receipts, and we take out what we can, our deductions, but we don't make much money. Yeah, that's a lot of work. I mean, I'm retired and have an income, and I'm still working mornings to nights, and it has to be a labor of love. But in a breeding program, the object is to breed the best dogs and to get your kennel always moving up with quality dogs. And in order to do that, you have to breed. And in order to keep puppies back for evaluation, you have to breed. So if you're keeping 1 or 2 puppies back from a litter, you need to sell the rest of the litter. That's just the way that it goes. And there's a lot of satisfaction in that. And we make a lot of friends, and a lot of people like what we do, and we like doing that. But we sell our dogs for $800. That's probably cheaper than most people do for the quality of the dogs. We went back to Dan, just picking up Dan and Ann. That was a trip to Ohio and back. And picking up Buck and his sister, that was a trip to Michigan and back. And so you're making a lot of these, trips, you're making sacrifices, you're getting the dogs in, you're taking care of the dogs, and it's taking up a lot of your time. But I feel that $800 is what we sell them for now. You have a pretty good investment. Person buys the dog for $800, there's a pretty good chance they're going to take care of the dogs. We have a 100% guarantee, no nonsense guarantee, better than Leopold and Burris and even Vortex scopes probably. If for some reason the dog doesn't work out, we just don't take the dog back. A lot of breeders will say, "Oh, we'll take the dog back," but well, you're going to give me my money back? No, we're just going to take the dog back. Well, why would we want to do that when I can just go ahead and sell the dog to somebody else? We buy the dogs back from you, and that allows us to get the dog back. We don't make you feel guilty about having to return a dog. It didn't work out. There wasn't the dogs you thought. German Shorters aren't from you. You went through a divorce. You're moving. You're in the military. Whatever. It's like, so we get the dog back. We evaluate them, and we rehome them, and it all works out fine. We do have older dogs from time to time, either dogs that have come back, it happens sometimes, or dogs that we've kept for evaluation, but for some reason they won't fit in our program. They're either, we have too many dogs at the time, or they're lacking in a certain area that we want. So we have those dogs from time to time. We're not a training facility. We don't do a lot of training. I mean, I know how to train, but we don't do that because we just focus on raising and taking care of our dogs. So bringing in a bunch of other dogs to train is not really something that we want to do. But we'll help you with a dog if you buy it from us. And we usually do that for free. And if you go on vacation, we'll watch the dog, and that's free. And if you need to call us on the phone and talk to us, we're here. We'll talk to you about whatever problems that you have, and we will help you the best we can. We're honest. We have a good integrity. We will go out of our way to please. We have a Christian-based philosophy of kindness, love, integrity, and going the extra step for the business. And the business is good. We have a decent reputation. We work hard to maintain that. We have a good Facebook following. The website's got a lot of information on it, so spend some time, go through the information, do your homework, talk to other people, talk to other breeders, kind of, get as much information as you can. And then if we can help you with a puppy, we can help you with information, feel free to call. Our numbers are on the website. You can pull up Desert Point Kennels and you will find us on the website without any problem at all. You can look at our dogs, you can see what we did, where we've been, where we're going, and that kind of stuff. Anyway, a lot of information. We really thank you for spending the time and looking at us. I mean, if you watched through the whole video, you're a little bit dedicated in your search and your knowledge, and there's a lot of kennels out there and a lot of stuff to process. But we've done our part, and we're willing to help you, with your part and whatever you're doing. So, in closing, good luck. Thank you very much. and good hunting. Thank you.